In this lecture you will learn about math operators in Python, or basically how to use Python as a calculator. And I do that all the time. I don't use the calculator of Windows, but I trigger a Python shell. I don't even have to open Atom. I just trigger the command line, the terminal from the start menu. And then you just trigger a Python shell and here you go. So there's no magic. We have the plus operator. We have the minus operator. So addition and subtraction. We have multiplication. You have division. You even have the modulo. And I forgot to pass the second number there. So I got the syntax error. Which is good that now you know what a syntax error is. So a syntax error is when Python expects to have something in the code. Python expects to get a second number after the modulo operator, but you are not passing it. So it says that the syntax error happened in this arrow here. So you know that after the percentage symbol you have a problem. So let me try it again. Pass 3 and you get 1. 1 is because you know 3 plus 3 is 6. And then you end up with a remainder of 1. You can also use the exponent operator, let's say 3 in power of 2, and you get 9. If you want to know the square root of a number now, you have to import a module. And that is the math module. So import math. Now we have external modules which we have to install, and we have standard modules which come installed with Python. And the math module is one example of this, of a standard module. Now once you import a module, the namespace of the module is made available in your current session. So now you can use math, so you refer to math, and then you use the square root method of the math module. There you pass a value, let's say 9, and you get 3.0. If you want to know the other available functions of the math module, you could use the dir function and pass the math module there. And here you have the functions. So you have radians, you have, here is the square root, and other stuff as well. Something more you should know is the order of the operators. So if you do 3 times 10 plus 1, you'd get 31. And that's because multiplication is the first operator to be executed, and then the addition happens. Similarly, you could have plus as the first operator, and then the multiplication. But again, you'd get 31. So as in math, Python looks for the multiplication. However, division is executed before the multiplication, and before the plus, of course. So let's look at this. What Python is doing here is first dividing 10 by 5, so you get 2 here, and then 2 is multiplied by 3, so you get 6, and then 6 plus 1 is 7. And you're getting a float number here because Python always produces a float number out of a division operation. So you get 2.0 out of this, and then 2.0 is multiplied by 3, and when you multiply a float number with an integer, you get a float as the output. And then the 6.0 of these is added to the 1, and you get 7.0 again. Then you might have the exponent. So let's say 5 in power of 2. Let's see what we get. 2.2. That's because the first operator here to be executed is the exponent. So that's the most important one. So we get 5 in power of 2 is 25, and then 10 divided by 25 is 0.4. So 0.4 times 3 is 1.2, and then 1.2 plus 1 is 2.2. So as you see, it's very simple to use Python as a calculator, because you can see the history here of your operations. And you can also choose to store something in a variable. Let's say I want to use the calculator as a currency converter for the moment. Let's say the rate is 110, and then I may want to do different operations by just saying 98, for example. I want to convert it using the rate, and you get the number, and so on. So remember, the next time you have Python to use as a calculator, and don't use the boring calculator of your computer. I'll see you in the next lecture.